Directed by Bong Joon-ho, Parasite caught viewers' attention for the brilliant way in which it frames social and political criticism as a form of protest in cinema. No non-English language film had ever gone so far in the film industry.
여보세요?
저기 아줌마, 짜파구리 할 줄 아시죠?
짜파구리?
It has won Oscars for Best Picture, Director, Original Screenplay, Best Film and Best International Film, among many others.
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
Hailing from South Korea, Parasite premiered in 2019 in the comedy, drama and thriller categories.
뭐야 그럼? 그 문자고 카톡이고 다 안 되는 거야?
그치.
The film tells the story of a poor family, the Kims, who are unemployed and living in poor conditions. As soon as the opportunity arises for the eldest son to get a job in a rich family's house, the Kims devise a plan for the other members to get work in the same house. In an artistic way, Bong Joon-ho manages to bring together all the social problems, such as inequality, the struggle for survival, and the capitalism experienced not only in Korea but around the world. This film allows the viewer to completely understand the symbols, analogies, and metaphors present in the image, without it acting or speaking directly about the issue. Criticism of social inequality is present in the category of several other films, notably in Saltburn, where the presence of the lower class in upper-class housing is defined as something unusual and strange.
Can I get a full English breakfast too, please?
Breakfast is on the side, darling. Just help yourself.
How would you like your eggs?
Oh, it's fine. I can get them.
Not the eggs. The eggs are made for you.
In The Hunger Games, the criticism is more centered on the capitalism and the struggle for survival.
Only the vulgar eat with their fingers, Felix. Or Daddy not teach you table manners?
Maybe he would have if he wasn't so busy running the country.
However, as far as Bong Joon-ho's works are concerned, Parasite isn't the first time that the director has tackled this theme. In Snowpiercer, there is also a physical separation between the lower class and the upper class that we perceive horizontally.
This is not you. This is disorder.
In Parasite, the separation is vertical. The Park's house, therefore, is positioned at the top of a hill, showing superiority and power. So the scene in which the Kims walk down a long flight of stairs shows that even though they live in the Park's house, the Kims will never leave the lower level where they live, the semi-basement, typical housing for people with less financial means in Korea.
Semi-basement means also semi-overground.
Yeah, so it gives you like a little bit of hope, because it's not like fully underground, but it's half away.
The first scene immediately introduces us to the Kim family's precarious situation. We see a window very close to the ground of the street, and as the camera moves downwards, we are introduced to the main character. Bong constructs a crowded setting with close-ups, a lot of visual pollution and disorientation when portraying the Kim's family.
생일 파티를 하는 건가요?
While in the Park's family, it is rare to see the characters all together. Bong isolates the characters in large, clean settings, causing a feeling of loneliness and without much connection between them. There is an obvious use of the high-angle shot and low-angle shot panning techniques at the beginning of the film, where in situations where a member of the Kim's family communicates with a member of the Park's family, the camera is placed above the character's head, filming from the top to the bottom, in order to show their fragility and weakness, and vice versa to show strength and superiority. For example, in this scene, the camera focuses high up to the point of minimizing the characters and almost losing them in the shot, a demonstration of insignificance. As far as lighting is concerned, the wealthy family is always portrayed with plenty of clarity and natural light, coming from the large windows surrounding the house. Even the clothing is very much based on white and light colors. The poor family, on the other hand, dress in darker, grayer tones and live in a house with almost no windows and artificial light. Here we see the transition of the character leaving the dark and shadowy surroundings and heading towards the bright future she will find in the Park's family home. However, even in the rich family's house, the Kims don't leave the dark tones and dim lighting around them. At the climax of the film, a storm highlights the social differences between the two families. The damage it causes to one family doesn't happen to the other. The Parks feel comfortable in the safety of their home, and there is a significant naivety about what is going on around them.
하늘 완전 파랗고 미세먼지 제로잖아. 어제 비 왕창 온 덕분에.
The Kims, on the other hand, see their house flooded and lose all their material possessions. As far as the symbols are concerned, Bong Joon-ho took great care to implement them throughout the film. For example, the offering of a gift, the Scholar's Stone, a seemingly out-of-context moment, but very important.
I really wanted to make audience curious. Something funny has happened, something going on, but we don't know exactly. But it feels interesting.
The stone appears later in scenes such as The Drunk and The Storm, where the protagonist uses the stone and protects it in order to secure his future. However, it ends up destroying him. Another symbol is the smell that characterizes the poor family and is intrinsic to them. It is the target of discomfort and conversation on the part of the rich family. The Parks are disgusted by the Kim's odor. However, this is the only trace that connects them to each other and where they would be easily discovered.
똑같다. 둘이 냄새가 똑같아.
It is at the birthday party of the Park family's youngest son, an opportunity for the two social classes to coexist in the same space, that the smell and the disgust exist. It's a scene that has the nature of great terror and impact, and yet there is no break between the two classes. Parallel to the situation of distinction between two different hierarchical levels, there is also the question of the struggle for survival within the same social class. Members of the same social class kill each other out of greed, revenge. An image that conveys the realistic shock and the true human condition, self-destruction.
혹시 느끼시는구나, 케빈 쌤.
침팬지를 그린 거죠?
자화상이에요.
The cinematography genres present in the film are inserted in an aesthetic manner, a way of telling a story in satire, with the aim of arousing various emotions in viewers. Comedy, for example, is used as an instrument of social and political criticism, presenting the characters in a lighter, more human and realistic way. The non-hero. In example, they are neither heroes nor villains or antagonists. They just make decisions that show a much more human side and that reflect in actions that are more negative than positive due to the desperate position they find themselves in. The comedy lightens any crime they commit by making the viewer want to side with the person who makes the wrong decisions. In Bong Joon-ho's Memories of a Murderer, we find an example of the non-hero. All the police officer cares about is arresting someone and closing the case, regardless of whether they are the real culprit or not. The outcome of this film is also very similar to that of Parasite.
이 여자를 이렇게 그대로 놓고서 덮치려고 하면서 그게 아니잖아. 서울밭으로 여자 끌고 갑니다. 예? 그러니까 이 논길에서 서울밭까지 뉴스봉 말입니다. 이게 무려 200m 아닙니까? 예?
The protagonists don't get a happy ending. Instead, the director opts for something more realistic. Through terror and thriller, it was possible to arouse feelings such as fear, disgust, horror, and shock. In Parasite, terror doesn't just work to show violent and bloody acts. It works as a means to warn of the dark and gloomy consequences of the economic crisis in South Korea, in the same way that the film Get Out uses it to talk about racism, prejudice, and the social exclusion felt in America.
Black is in fashion.
The mystery in the dark hidden corridors of the house, the sinister gaze of the husband of the park's ex-employee, and the way the deaths are violently portrayed in Parasite characterize the horror genre. The doorbell rings, there is silence and the frame opens, thus beginning the first scene of mystery, thriller and fear. Bong Joon-ho wants to create nervousness and intensity in the viewer when decisions have to be made, constantly perpetuating doubt about the outcome of events, uncertainty, restlessness, anxiety, and anguish. Parasite is born. Who will be the parasite? The Kims, who feed off the park's wealth and home, or the Parks, who live off capitalism and at the expense of those who have nothing?